If I were king, the first thing I would do is I would hire a board of directors who would have the ability to hire and fire me. And my reasoning there is that I don't believe any tax dollars should be spent on any individual who is not able to be hired or fired. That is a huge drag on our economy, and it almost doesn't matter today who the president becomes, because our country is starting to be run by a bureaucracy that cannot be hired and fired. Dropout rates are soaring. This is panic. This is a horrible thing. Our dropout rates have gone from 5% in 2001 to 13% today. 5 to 13%. If that continues, nobody's going to go to high school. Now, I believe that we're all focused on sameness. We're focused on, our education system is focused on test taking and sameness, and there is no competition in the education system. We need competition in the education system, or people just won't want to go. It's just, I mean, you know, teachers have become, you know, babysitters at best, and they are forced to be in this horrible system where they're focused on test taking. The principal doesn't have any power to hire or fire teachers. The boards don't have any power to hire and fire the principal. It all becomes political, and there is nothing that is getting us back to where we're competing for better and better schools. And without that competition, you're going to see it continue down. And we need it. We need choice in schools. We need parents to be able to choose what's right for their kids. And this is a horrible, horrible situation. And our valley, if our education system continues in this way, our valley is in big, big trouble. Now, there is a glowing light out there, and that is a lot of these dropouts are going homeschooled. And the reason they're going homeschooled is that the parents are throwing their arms up and saying, look, if there's no competition in the schools, there's no improvement in the schools, why should I go to the schools? And all these great entrepreneurs out there are starting new systems, new ways of educating kids, and the parents are picking those things up in droves. And so we are actively investing in new education systems, new education approaches, and we think that there's some great hope there. But the public school system is broken, it needs competition, and we gotta face it. I think that there are some great opportunities in energy and alternative energy sources, but I think we gotta get realistic about this, because 90% of what we use is fossil fuels, 10% of what we use is nuclear power, and 1%, I guess this adds up to 101, 1% or less than 1% is all other energy sources combined. So there's plenty of opportunity for growth, and solar and wind and whatever, they're growing at, say, 20% a year. It's going to take a long time to become fossil fuel independent at that rate. I don't expect that rate to improve too much. I think 20% growth is a terrific industry, and we will continue to invest in that industry, and we're very ambitious about it. But energy cutting back is one good way to get rid of the fossil fuel dependence. But the other is, I think we also need to face that we need more nuclear fuel if we really want to get fossil fuel independent. And we need to make that trade-off. And it's a tough one to make, and it's a political quagmire, third rail of politics. But I think we've got to recognize that France has done this. It's been very safe for a long time. Japan's done it. It's been safe for a long time. And I think we should consider the idea of more nuclear power in the Bay Area and in all parts of America. And it is a real potential solution, at least for the short term, while solar and wind and hydroelectric and and all the other sources are rising. Now, to answer the other question, what are some of these interesting opportunities? It's fascinating. Well, one great one is the Tesla. It's and it's Silicon Valley based, and it's an electric car that goes 0 to 60 in less than 4 seconds, and it's all electric, and you can't get that and it's for $100,000, and you can't get that for less than $500,000. That kind of performance for less than $500,000 in the market. That's great because you're not only going green, but you're going fast. So when the performance starts to increase, as well as improving the environment, we are really going to see some great innovations. And there are plenty of other innovations that are happening in the clean tech world, from biomass energy, although some people say you don't want to be in a civilization that burns their food source. But biomass is an opportunity. Solar collectors, which are different from the solar panels you see on roofs. There are many potential opportunities that people haven't even imagined yet, but entrepreneurs are out there struggling with them, and ultimately I think we're going to have some great solutions. Maybe we'll hit nuclear fusion in our lifetimes, and maybe we'll be able to do solar collectors in space. There are many, many, many different ways to skin a cat here, but we've got to be realistic that if we don't want to be fossil fuel independent, we have to recognize that we have one potential solution, and that is nuclear power. We had a wonderful microcosm where there was the venture capital entrepreneurship virtuous cycle going on, and now that cycle is happening all over the world, and I think that's a big challenge. We are suddenly faced with global competition with much lower cost workforces coming from India, China, and all over the world. And right now, that group is the one that is in the stiffest competition. That group with the lower and middle jobs is in the stiffest competition. As time goes on, that's going to balance out. The people in China and India are rising higher and higher and are going to be in competition for the high-level jobs. And those high-level jobs are also going to be in competition. And I think we've just got to face it. We're in a globally very competitive world, and that's the tough part. But the benefit is that we're in a globally open world, and the opportunities are vast. And overall, we're getting more jobs here in the Silicon Valley. So I think we're in great shape. We need to just keep pushing. That those individual companies have to recognize that they're global, and it's not us against them. It's an individual company competing in the huge global market, and that global market offers incredible opportunities for all those entrepreneurs out there to take advantage of. And that global market also requires that those companies need to hire people wherever they are for the best price they can, and hire the absolute best people, which is why we really need to focus on our education system. It's all market forces at work, and the CEOs that are being paid too much eventually get fired, and they're replaced with lower cost CEOs. And the average worker is now under great pressure because there are a lot of average workers out there. And so there's a lot of competition. I think that will also balance out as these global markets increase, and the world generally becomes an easier place to work and get around. It's a great place to buy a home, but it's very tough to afford one. I think that $800,000 house would be a $500,000 house or a $400,000 house if we didn't have such stiff regulations on building. I think people should be able to build much more easily than they do today. And then our houses would be all a lot less expensive.